To create a new project, go up to File, down to Project Window, create a new project. Here you can rename it. Here you can set the location of the project. This is good for when you're working as a team and you need to share your project between team members, as you can save whatever's in your scene in these subfolders. And just click Accept. In the top left, you can see our basic geometry. The one we want to add is the plane. To navigate around this plane, hold Alt and left click to rotate. Hold Alt and click the mouse wheel to pan. And use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. We now need to add a texture. So go up to Hypershade. Select Lambert. Select the checker pattern next to color. Go to File. Then locate your texture. Select Lambert. And then rename your texture. Select your object, hold right click, go down to assign existing material, then select your material. The texture won't appear at first, so press 6 on your keyboard and the texture should show. If you press space, so we can see our object from all different angles, we can see in our front perspective the object isn't rotated correctly. So if we hover our mouse over this panel, press space again, then select our object, go to the attribute edit on the right, we can rotate our object on the X axis. We'll do this by 90 degrees. You can see our texture isn't showing, so we press 6 on our keyboard, so it's shaded with the texture. If you press 4, it'll go into wireframe. 5, shaded without texture, but we want it with a texture, so we'll press 6 again. We can now start modeling our window. So if we go into the modeling toolkit on our right, select edge selection, select our object, select an edge, hold shift, double click, it should select all our edges vertically. Press 4, so we can go in our wireframe display, you can see it's selected that whole row. So press 6 again to go back into it. So it shows our texture. Select our move tool here, double click it, make sure preserve UVs is checked. We select this axis here, just move this edge across. So we can do the same for this side. Select our edge, hold shift, double click. We'll select the whole row vertically, move it across. We're just outlining this window frame here. So we can do it again. Move this one up. So now we've outlined the window frame, we can start looking for details that need a little bit more adjusting. So like here, over time this shelf has warped. So what we can do is go and select our vertices, select them, and just start moving these up. Just to add a little bit more detail. Sometimes it won't let you move your edges. So what you can do is go into Mesh Tools and insert Edge Loop. And if you select an edge, a horizontal edge, you can start placing them vertically. And if you select a vertical edge, it'll place them horizontally. So now we can start extruding some of the faces on this object. So if we select our object, go into Face Selection at the top right here, left click and drag to select all the faces just on our window. Press space, go into perspective, just hover the mouse over, press space again. Press Ctrl E and just drag this back. Only slightly, it's only a window. So now we can do the shelf. So left click and select, hold shift, and select all the faces on this shelf. Ctrl E again to extrude. Just pull this out. That should be enough. You can do the window frame here. Left click, hold shift and just select the window frame. Ctrl E again to extrude, pull this out. You can see I've missed the middle one here. We can press Ctrl Z to go back. Hold shift and just select that. A good way to make sure you haven't missed a face, just press 4 on your keyboard, go into the wireframe display and just make sure what faces you've selected. So I've selected them all now, press 6 again. Control E to extrude. Let's pull this out. There, perfect. So now you can see, if I just select the edge selection, that these edges are a bit too sharp. So what I can do is left click, hold shift and select these edges. Go to Edit Mesh at the top and Bevel. So this rounds the edge off a bit. They're still a bit too sharp. So if we go into the attribute editor, go to segments here and just put in about 2. It rounds them off nicely. So we could do this here as well. Select your edges on your window frame, just hold shift and left click. Remember, you can press 4 on your keyboard to go in the wireframe display just to make sure you selected all the edges you want. Press 6 again to get our texture up. Go to Edit Mesh and Bevel. Go to Attribute Editor, add some more segments. If you adjust the fraction here, it'll start to move the edges down just to give it a more rounded effect. That should be enough. you can see when extruding our faces, it stretched our texture here. We can fix this if we select our object, go to face selection in our modeling toolkit on the right, left click, hold shift, and double click, select all the faces on the inside of our window frame here. Go to UV, down to automatic. This will create some UVs for us that we can control. So if we go to UV, then our UV editor, use the mouse wheel to zoom out. We can then see the UVs it's created. We can control these. So if we go to our move tool, select our move tool, and drag these over, we can see it moves along our texture. So these are alright where they are, but the bricks are slightly too small. So we need to blend these in with the rest of our texture. So if we go to scale, select our scale tool on the left, and shrink this down, it'll increase the size of the bricks. So select our move tool, move it up. So they're about the same size. The shortcuts for move, rotate, and scale are W for move, E for rotate, and R for scale. Move this across. Should be alright. You can see it's stretched on our shelf here as well. So it's the same. Hold shift, select a face, and then double click on the face next to it. It will select all the faces on that row. So you can see I've still got the faces selected. So I'll just do that again. Left click, hold shift, double click. All those faces are selected. Go to UV, select automatic. So we've still got a UV editor open. Start moving these across again. Just using the shortcuts, E for rotate, W for move, R for scale.